I don't know about you, but gardening in the winter mystifies me. How does anything grow when it's so cold? Our philosophical farmer, Clyde Fenton, has some wonderful ideas for strawberries in the winter garden. Let's see what blissful ideas he will share today.
Good morning. Welcome to this edition of The Philosophical Farmer. We're going to be talking about strawberries this morning. That may seem like an odd time to be talking about strawberries in the fall, but for a number of years now, a system's been introduced that's called an annual bed strawberry system. You know, many of you may remember that your grandparents, your parents grew strawberries in their garden. They would plant them in the spring and they'd wait a whole year before they realized to harvest. In this annual bed system, we can put them in the fall and realize a complete harvest in April or May. Anyway, that's what we're going to be talking about this morning. We're going to get into it a little further here in just a second. All right, I'm here today with Herb Ginn, who's a good friend of mine and also a colleague. He is the agricultural agent in Crawford County, and he's working with me on this demo doing strawberries. Anyway, Herb, when we do a project like this, what's one of the first things that we're looking at when we approach something like this?
One of the first things that we need to do is make sure we take a soil sample, and it's very economical through the University of Arkansas Extension Service. There's no charge because it's paid through a tax that's on fertilizers. So it's critical that we do take a soil test.
Can you tell us a little bit about what we found on our soil tests here?
Unfortunately, we found out that our pH was low. I think if I remember right, it was close to 5.5, and very low, which for most crops won't work unless, I guess, we were growing blueberries. But for this particular crop, we did tomatoes before, but now we're doing the strawberries. We did need to add lime, and then also the proper amounts of nitrogen and phosphorus and potassium or potash as the source for that.
I've been working with Herb a lot on doing row crop stuff. Herb has a long background working with row crops, and we worked on soybeans together this year, which was a really cool project because I knew nothing about soybeans. Anyway, he's kind of working with me because horticulture is my thing, and we're having a good time learning from each other. On the strawberries, I want to talk about that a little bit more. These strawberry plants are basically rooted from a runner tip. If you remember Grandma and Grandpa's patch, you know, they would get runners after the strawberries came off. A runner would go out, and if there was dirt underneath it and enough moisture, it would set a root. Well, basically, they're taking those and making little plug plants like this. Now, one of the beauties, and this is why I think this plant is so cool, a strawberry, when the temperatures are warm and the days are a little bit longer, the same bud that's on the crown, and this is the crown right here, the same bud that's on the crown that will make a runner when it gets cooler weather, a little shorter days, still growing weather, but cooler nights, it makes a branch crown. And that is why this annual bed system works. If you see, we've got our plants placed about a foot apart and about a foot between them and between the two rows. But each of these, by the time they go dormant in the winter, are going to make 2 to 3 crowns. And each of those crowns is going to have 2 or 3 branches with 2, 4, 6, or 8 berries on. And so one of these plants, if it does really well, will make up to 1 pound of strawberries per plant. That's why this system works so well, even though we're planting so late. All right, I just wanted to take a minute and talk about the structure a little bit here, because we're growing strawberries a little bit different than outside. We're using what's called a high tunnel. This is a homemade high tunnel, and we've done shows where I've done it in a commercial high tunnel, but the high tunnel is basically going to cheat winter a little bit. We're gonna gather that sunshine. This is going to be completely enclosed by next week, and we'll be able to gather the heat during the day and hold some of that during the night, and it will push those plants so that we get enough growth on them, so we get those branch crowns as we go into the cold part of winter. I also want to take an opportunity this morning. Herb and I and another colleague of ours are working on an idea right now, and keep an eye on our Facebook sites, our web pages. We want to do a program called the Side Hustle Series, where we're going to teach people how to grow strawberries, blackberries, and blueberries, and basically lead them through from choosing the site to doing the soil sample, But that's a program that we're going to kind of put some trial balloons out and see if people are interested. So keep an eye on our sites for that. Now, as always, I want to end today with just a thought. We call this program the Philosophical Farmer. I got thinking about it. November, I'm not sure when this will air, but November is election time, and it's been a contentious time. I had a good friend when I was in college. I actually sang in a concert choir, and he was our choir director. But he had this favorite verse from an old text, and it said, "Study to be quiet." This was his favorite text. "Study to be quiet, minding your own business and working with your hands." And I think about the unrest in our country, and I always thought, wow, what a peculiar favorite text. But, you know, we need peace in this country. We need to be quiet, mind our own business. Not that we don't have our opinions about what we believe and so forth, but we are Americans, and we need to live at peace with one another. Anyway, that's my thought for today. Thank you for tuning in. We'll look forward to seeing you the next time.